The Wizards are 7-2 starting the season. Bradley Beal practiced for the first time since breaking his left hand, and I saw him shooting a couple days ago. He looked good. I mean, he looked energetic. He was getting up and down the court. He was catching the ball with his left hand. So, my question for you, Scott, is with the way the Wizards are playing now, is there any chance that when he comes back, the chemistry is disrupted with how well they're playing now?
I could see maybe a hiccup for a couple games as Randy Whitman kind of figures out the rotation and gets Bradley Beal back into game shape. But I think his return is going to be nothing but good for a Wizards team that has benefited from a relatively weak schedule to start the season, padding that record a bit. The three-point shooting, something that they excelled in last year. I think they finished fourth in three-point field goal percentage. This year they've struggled. Garrett Temple has tried to fill the void, John Wall.
Yeah.
But Beal really able to stretch that offense with the inside game they already have is going to be nothing but a good thing.
Heath, are you easing Beal back, or are you getting him 30 minutes a game right off the bat?
I would say ease him back in, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
And I don't think it matters if it disrupts the chemistry because this team is thinking big picture already. Right, the idea for this team is to advance in the playoffs, maybe get to the conference finals or the finals, and whether it disrupts the chemistry for 4 or 5 games is not a big deal. The thing that would worry me most about Beal is there was the quote today in Jorge Castillo's story about how Beal said, the only time he feels pain is when there's contact, and that would worry me, that the chance of re-injuring it. So I think you do ease him back in.
Dan, if you're Randy Whitman, are you starting Beal, or are you bringing him slowly off the bench?
I think I would probably start him off the bench as long as Beal's cool with that. And I mean, one of the reasons that I don't think you want to rush his minutes is because he's taking some minutes away from Otto Porter at some point. And I love how much time Otto Porter is getting right now, and I love what he's doing for the team. And I think to the extent that you can get him as much experience right now when they're playing these kind of meaningless games against these kind of bad teams, I think that's better for Otto. And you're going to have Beal for 60 games, and you're going to have him for the playoffs. There's no need for him to be playing 30 minutes a game now.
Well, do you think it's reasonable that he comes back not against Dallas on Wednesday, but against the Cavaliers, Keith, on Friday? That's a huge game, obviously, right?
Well, yeah, and it's certainly one you want to be in. You want to be in front of the crowd because it's probably going to be a packed house for that one. Being a Friday night and it being LeBron.
Yeah.
An ESPN game too.
ESPN game,
But you just can't lose sight of what's important. What's important is getting Beal back into the flow, getting this team keeping this team playing well. Going forward, I don't know if I would mince or be too focused on how well he plays right away out of the gate. How if it disrupts the chemistry. I think that the big thing is long term.
And that Cleveland game, we were talking before the season started, all the best backcourt in the NBA stuff. That sort of got buried under the Cleveland trying to figure out whether they could actually win a game, and now they're cruising. But that debate seems to have just kind of.
Scott, does it concern you at all that if Beal comes in and takes away time from Otto, that Otto's not going to be able to get into the rhythm he has been, and it's going to kind of take his game back a notch?
I'm not too concerned just because we're only 9 games into the season. I mean, you see some coaches take the full 82 games to figure out that rotation come playoff time, and as Keith and Dan have both mentioned, I think that's where the eyes are now. I mean, you've got 70 games left to figure out what the rotation should be. I
mean, I think another interesting thing at some point besides the playoff thing for this Wizards team will be honestly whether they can set a franchise mark for regular season wins, or at least the most in 30 years. I think that's going to be interesting because they certainly have the talent to do that.